Do you know there was once a civilization more advanced than ancient Egypt, with cities that had flushed toilets 4,000 years before Rome did? Then, almost as if overnight, over 1,000 cities were abandoned, and nobody has ever fully explained why. This is a story about one of the world's greatest ancient civilizations, one most people have never even heard of. Around 2600 BCE, along the banks of the Indus River in what is now Pakistan and northwest India, an incredibly advanced society rose to power, the Indus Valley Civilization, also called the Harappan Civilization. At its peak, it may have been home to over 5 million people, making it larger, in some estimates, than both ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. What made this civilization so remarkable wasn't conquest or war. It was engineering. Its two greatest cities, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, featured precisely planned street grids, standardized brick sizes used across the entire empire, and one of the most advanced drainage and sewage systems in the ancient world, complete with private bathrooms and covered drains running beneath nearly every home. And yet, despite governing what may have been the largest urban population on Earth at the time, archaeologists have found almost no evidence of warfare. No massive palaces built for kings. No grand monuments glorifying rulers. No obvious weapons of war stockpiled in their cities. It's one of the biggest puzzles about them, a civilization this large, seemingly, remarkably peaceful. The Indus Valley people also developed their own written script, thousands of short inscriptions found on seals, pottery, and tablets across their cities. Here's the part that still frustrates historians today. That script has never been deciphered. Not once, in over a century of study. We can see their writing everywhere. We still can't read a single word of it. For centuries, this civilization thrived, trading goods as far away as Mesopotamia, in modern-day Iraq. Then, starting around 1900 BCE, something began to change. Slowly, the great cities started shrinking. Trade routes that connected them to Mesopotamia gradually went silent. Standardized weights and measurements, used for centuries, simply stopped being used. One of the earliest, and for decades most popular, theories was dramatic invasion. Early 20th century historians proposed that Indo-Aryan people invaded from the north and violently destroyed the civilization. But that theory has largely fallen apart under modern scrutiny. Archaeologists have found no widespread evidence of battle, destruction, or massacre at these sites, no burned cities, no mass graves, nothing consistent with a violent conquest. So if it wasn't war, what was it? The leading theory today points to something far less dramatic, and far more unsettling: climate change. Geological evidence suggests the monsoon patterns that had sustained Indus Valley agriculture for centuries began shifting and weakening. Some researchers also believe a major tectonic event may have diverted the Gagar-Hakra river system entirely, cutting off water that entire cities depended on to survive. Without reliable monsoons or rivers, farming that once produced massive food surpluses simply couldn't keep up anymore. Smaller harvests meant less food. Less food meant smaller, poorer communities, unable to support the massive urban populations these cities were originally built for. Slowly, the great cities that once amazed the ancient world became impossible to sustain. Rather than one single dramatic collapse, most historians today believe what actually happened was a long, gradual decline, stretched out over centuries. Families and communities slowly migrated eastward, toward the Ganges River basin, abandoning the grand cities their ancestors built, and eventually settling into smaller villages and farms, permanently leaving behind the urban way of life that had defined their civilization for centuries. By around 1300 BCE, the great cities of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa stood almost completely empty, slowly buried by sand and time, undiscovered again until the 20th century. To this day, we still can't read their written language. We still don't know exactly what finally pushed them to leave. What we do know is this: a civilization that mastered engineering, sanitation, and trade thousands of years before most of the modern world, quietly walked away from everything they built, and the full reason why still remains buried, right along with their cities.